If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome to another episode of the Season of Self-Love podcast. Today is Mindset Mondays, and I'm your host, Nyomi Banks. Look, I am too excited. I am too excited to be joining y'all today. Whether you are new to this space and you've been rocking with us all season long, know that this podcast is your sacred space to grow, heal, and elevate your journey of self-love. Now, as you know, we have been our theme for this year is the year of rebirth. It's a time to reclaim our power and to rewrite our stories and embrace every layer of what we are becoming. But this month is all about our March series. It's all about letting go. And yes, releasing what no longer serves us so we can make room for everything that does. You know, I shared with you a conversation on last Tuesday about just realizing what true letting go was when I thought that I was letting go, but I didn't. But we're going to talk about that a little later in this episode. But today, you know, Dr. Will is with us today, and he's going to help us. He's going to help us with our creative visualization. That, our creative visualization, he's going to give us some tools, and he's going to let go of those limited beliefs, and we're going to start truly seeing the life that we want to live. Truly the life that we want to live. And why I stress that again, last week, I had an awakening. What I thought I was doing, I was not doing. But it's also to help us to go deeper into this conversation. Again, we are joined by our resident therapist, Dr. Will. But before we bring him to the stage, we're going to take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on this Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. By bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to axnyomi.com and tell them Nyomi sent you. All right, well, welcome back. Hey, Dr. Will.
Hey, it's so good to see you.
Yes. Are you ready for this?
I am. I think that this is going to be, I think this is important, especially with springtime coming.
Yeah.
This is so important. So like this, the timing could never be perfect.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I know before we got on, I know we talked about that. We talked about this before, and that was like last year, probably around this time too last year. But one thing is we have to keep not only reminding ourselves, but reminding, our listeners out there, because what we say today might be totally different than what we said last year. And,
100%.
right. And I know that because what I was awakened to last week, I was like, woo.
And you ever have those flashbacks in the shower, and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? And that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments.
Yeah. Well, before we get deep into this conversation, let's ground ourselves for a nice moment. All right. So if you all can just close your eyes right now, if you're in a comfortable position. All right. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Pause. Now exhale out through your mouth. Now close your eyes if you can, and I want you to feel your feet on the ground. I want you to feel the energy of the earth supporting you. I want you to visualize yourself in a calm and safe space. One where you feel free to let go. Now, as we move through today's episode, I want you to set the intention to release the old and invite in a new and powerful vision of life. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale out. And when you are ready, please open your eyes. All right, my beautiful people. If you are new here to the Season of Self-Love Podcast, something we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help ground us before we get into the topic at hand. All right, Dr. Will. Dr. Will, you ready? Let's jump right in it.
I'm
ready?
good.
All right. So for those who may be new to the concept, can you start by explaining what creative visualization actually is?
Yes. So I'm going to break it down. So just starting out with just being creative. Being creative is the expression of self. And it's important to understand that when you are in the act of creation, you're actually embracing all three states of your life, your past, your present, and your future. You're channeling yourself back into a space that you felt safe, innocent, boundless, right?
Mhm.
Presently, you're working through something that you're currently actively going through. And then future is you're also creating the product of what you may be looking at after everything is being done completed. So a lot of times, especially with those who are experiencing trauma, I've asked them the simple question of, what are you creating in your life? Because a lot of times we are denied our own autonomy, our own power, our choice, because of how trauma has conditioned us or cheated us in the past. And so the creative part is the self-expression. Then the visualization is being able to project an image that comes from within, right? Being able to understand your capability and your capacity. And depending upon how honorable and intentional you are about your creative process, your visualization can be limited or expansive, just simply because of how you see yourself in your story, how you see yourself in your narrative, how you see yourself as a character you developed in your life. So having creative visualization is a process of becoming yourself and giving yourself the autonomy to reach further out.
I love that. I love how you explained that. I think it was a couple of weeks ago we talked about that character, even when we was talking about forgiveness, about when we're forgiving someone and we become another character, because in that moment we have not only released whatever that trauma was between that relationship, but also that's a part of healing. So then that's a different character that's being created within yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And so for the process of letting go, if we think of it about, if we let go the hurt, if we let go a situation or things that no longer, say for instance for me, letting go certain things that's in the adult industry that's no longer aligned with me, but it's not the whole thing of entirety. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And see, for me, even though, and this is the thing, this is what I said my awakening came last week, is because I thought I had to choose yet again. I thought that I couldn't be, and when I was like, wow, when I thought, I was like, okay, so I'm here, but I'm here only to teach them. I'm only here to teach them that they can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's not it. What I'm teaching them, what I'm showing them, and it's not teaching, it's showing them that I can still be in this space and still be spiritual and still own myself sexually.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
I love that you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's about you finding that balance, because that's what you started with. That's what you started with Ask Nyomi. And just because you're so embedded in what self-love is, and you're so embedded in spirituality, now where's your sexuality? Where's the part of your essence, your sensuality? When we talk about sex is, we have to stop looking at it as such a grimy, nasty, perverted thing.
Yes. It's a, what am I getting? What are you getting? What are you doing to
Yeah.
me? What am I doing to you? It's
Yeah.
it's so linear. It's so linear. It's treated so linear.
Yeah. And that's what you have to find that intimacy within that sex of that. We're coming together as one.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly, if we're gifted and we're blessed enough, we're able to create something else just beautiful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If we don't look at it like that, and I can understand why, because there's been so many things, that trauma from people with abuse of all of those things. But I think if we start to learn what really sex is and how we can use it with spirituality in that tune, and not misleading with it, Oh my God. And
Well, that's a big word right there.
yes,
That's a big word. Yeah.
Not misleading with it. It was a message that came to me that said I was a leader. It was 3 messages that came. One was about owning my sexuality, and the other one was about sensuality, and the other was about me being a leader. And me not using my leadership to manipulate. You lead in love, you lead in honesty and authenticity. Because when you out here with 2 very strong entities, with spirituality and with sexuality. Those are 2 very strong entities. And you want to make sure that you are being responsible when speaking and saying those things. So for me, not only was I limiting myself, in it, I wasn't even sitting fullness of me in it. And so even in my visualizations that I was doing, it was only a half type of, thing, because I was still holding on to stuff.
Yeah. And the fact is that a lot of us are holding on to things that are just creating false visualizations. And that wears on you. That lives in you. And we act it out, and we make other people the bearers of what we did, of what we're not letting go ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's such a hard truth. And we've all been a part of that. We've all done that, right? In one way or another. We have.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is right now, this is a psychological thing that's going on in our head when we go through that. So how can you break it down? Where can you use the visualization as a tool for that mind, excuse my language, that mind fuck that we do to ourselves?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, what's actually going in inside of our brain when that's happening?
Yeah. So I would love to talk about self-concept. A lot of times we talk about self-esteem, right? Self-esteem is, like how I feel good about myself, and it helps promote positive change and positive engagement. But self-concept is different, because it's more along the lines of, who am I based upon the way people treat me? Who am I based upon the way people treat me? And if you make your life based upon the way people treat you, there is no boundary. There is no limitation to how you can change yourself, because everybody's going to have their own story of you. There are people that truly love me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are people that have only seen the ugly. There are only people that have seen the ugly parts. And unfortunately, they're not going to see the good part. right? It's like that example of, well, hey, if I'm not friends with them, you shouldn't be friends with them either. I'm like, well, they didn't do anything to me. Well, whose side are you on? I'm on the side that makes me feel like myself. I'm
Right.
on the side that makes me feel like myself. And I think that is one of the hardest things that people are learning, this weird sense of ownership over
Mm-hmm.
who you should be for them and what people should be for you.
Yeah.
They
Mm.
never thought about who they actually are for themselves,
Yeah.
right? And that is psychologically one of the hardest moments, because we grow up conditioned to be nurtured
Mm-hmm.
by somebody else, and then we're put into this nature or this environment that condition us to perform, but never teaches us how to be ourselves. And we only find out who we are based upon how people praise us
Mm.
and punish us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
You get praised, and you get praised for how good you perform, and then punished for not doing what you could have done. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's no grace or gray period in that. And so a lot of times, psychologically speaking, a lot of us create these irrational beliefs or irrational cognitions. And so these thoughts, these impulsives, these compulsive behaviors, thoughts, feelings that intrude and interrupt our ability to be still in our actual identity. And sexuality is one of the biggest receivers of that. And so a lot of times, a lot of us that are to explore our sexuality, we end up really becoming more of ourselves when we actually invite that actual element into our lives.
Mm.
But before we even get to actually exploring our sexuality, we're already told how it should go. We're already told how it should feel. We're forced to already know what it's like without even having autonomy in that process.
Right.
And so the visualization of just sexuality itself is already being conditioned in a negative connotation in our
Yeah.
culture, in our society.
Yeah.
There's no neutrality in that.
Right. No, I totally agree. When I got into the adult industry, I was 30 something years old. So I was a grown ass woman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that is where I truly found my sexuality, and my sensual side of myself for me, not for,
Mm,
my partner, but it was for me. And it felt very free. You understand? It felt so
mhm,
free, and I didn't look at it in a negative connotation. I felt like I was owning every part of me because I knew I was a spiritual woman, but I didn't know that I was a sexual woman or a sexual being
mm,
until I truly got into the industry and I watched people and I did my research on certain things. You understand what I'm saying? And
yeah,
from there, that's how everything is like, no, I should be, because I feel this way. Because
mm.
now I know my body. I know what,
Think about how
I
many
was
people are
told not to touch
disconnected,
that.
though.
Right.
How many
Yeah.
people are disconnected from their bodies and their minds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. We taught that. We taught to even look outside of ourselves, even for God.
yeah,
And we are in his image. We are, you know what I'm saying? We was
yes,
made in his image. So if we made in his image, then that means he's inside of each and every one of us. But we've been taught to look outside of that. And
yeah,
that's where the disconnect comes from. That's where it becomes hard for us
mhm,
to find out who we are, or the self-love, or the intimate relationship. I love the way that you said about self-concept.
yes,
I've been very guilty of that self-concept, thing there. Where people, I have some people that love the hell out of me, and some people just like, I don't like her. I don't, whatever,
yeah,
whatever the reason. And I can be doing me the best of the ability that I can. But my thing is that I'm gonna show up to somebody different. My character is totally different for them. And
yes.
most of the time it ain't even me. Most of the time it's not even you. It's
That's
whatever
what we call
I'm going through.
we don't talk about the difference between character and personality,
Yeah.
right? Person, even just like the Latin translation, the Greek understanding of it all, right? It's persona, it's the persons of you, right? And personality is the person is actually the many persons in you, within you. And so for me, like the way I hang out with my musician friends, the way I hang out with my therapist friends, the way they hang out with my parkour friends, the way I hang out with my video game nerd friends, it's a different personality, but I need all those things to feel like me.
Mhm.
And then if they all come together, that's great. But I'll be confused. I'll be switching back and forth. I'll be like a whole mask moment. Like I'm gonna lose my mask. But I mean, it's one of those things where I needed that to feel like one, and that's my system. That's why I love internal family systems therapy so much, because there are so many parts of me that have to exist to be one. And when someone tries to deny a part of me, I have to deny you. Because there's a reason why this part is in me.
Right.
And so that acceptance that you talk about, it's so liberating, especially when I have a lot of Black women clients come in. They don't know how to own their body. They don't know how to trust their own body. They don't even want to be able to free their bodies because of the fear of what would happen if they let go for a moment. What would happen to them? That's anxiety. The what if.
Yeah.
And so that type of pressure, right? That pressure to perform or be punished is something that's plaguing our entire culture.
Yeah.
And we have to remove that. We have to remove that uncontrollable fear. We do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very powerful. And I love that you said that, because that's a part of that is what helps create our limited beliefs. A lot of times where I'm not good enough, or if they see that, then they're gonna look at me as a whore. Now we putting labels on it. That's the thing.
Yes.
We have labels for everything. I can't do this because if I do this, then such and such and such and such. How can we tell our listeners, or how we can tell our listeners about visualization and why it's such a powerful tool for breaking that thought, that mental blockage? Because that is a mental block, because that's all we see. And I love that you said in the beginning about the narrative that we have of self. This is where the time that you have to start to rewrite your story, And I'm going to say this is where the self-love comes in. This is where you go in and you find out who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do. I would love to do a narrative exercise. So it's a narrative therapeutic exercise.
Okay.
And so I want people to get their pen, their purpose pen, their purpose paper. And the first thing we do is I want you to really just sit for a second, just be still for a moment. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just think of a word that really just makes you feel uncomfortable, a word that makes you feel unsure, a word that makes you feel like, like that word just, I hate this word. I hate when people say this word. Then once you get that word, I want you to think of the person that's saying that. Who is that person? How are they important to you? What's their history with you? What's the power that they have over you? Why do they need to be removed? What do they mean to your freedom? And once you really start thinking about that word and those questions, I want you to write out the process of who they really are. Because it was never about the words, about the relationship that you had. So that's what I want you to journal. What was the relationship? Because words have the power of life and death, but what bridges life and death is the relationship that we have between all that. So I think that's what we have to redefine how these words enter and live in us.
Yes.
We have to change that.
Yes.
That's the creative process.
You know what? I love that. I just love this exercise that you just did right here. And the reason why is because just the other day, I swear, myself and my husband was sitting in the studio and we were talking. This was after my aha moment, right? After my aha moment, and I was sitting and I was talking to him about the way that I was moving, and where I realized why I was moving some ways. I was a lot hesitant on some things. Not so much afraid of some things, but I was hesitant on it because I didn't want to be perceived by something or someone. Mind you, and it's two different situations. So one of the situations is my father used to always say that I had a big head. Meaning a big head that I was so very confident, very confident. And I was a child that was like a matter of fact. I will get the encyclopedia. I will find the answers. That was me. And if the answer didn't fit, I want to know why. Now I want to know why the chair is named the chair. This thing. And he just really like, no, you just really, you got a big head and you arrogant and and I didn't understand that. What I understood is that I cannot be arrogant. I have to be humble. And this is where I'm so grounded and so in my humbleness that I forget to allow my light to shine and be the powerful person that I know that I've always been. Because when I feel it, then I go like this. Okay, you gotta bring it back, because remember your daddy said. But then I thought about it. My father wasn't. My father lost his father when he was 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
He was the only boy out of 5 children. He's right in the middle. And so his sisters are always taking care of him or doing things. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he was never able to really be that confident person and walk around and be, hey.
Because he had everybody else in front of him.
Yes. Yes. And so when I hear that now, I understand, like I said, that awakening was something just real. Like, you got all of this stuff that you're doing, baby. You got all of this stuff that you're doing. And what is you tripping about? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. You just finished what? When I wrote 9 workbooks, amazing workbooks.
Yeah.
Amazing workbooks for self-love, for relationships. And it's the bomb. But guess what? I ain't released it. I'm just holding on to it.
For who?
Exactly. For who? So let me tell you this. This is crazy. This is how you know when you gotta let go. This is when you know that you have to let go, because that narrative that you give on yourself, it will stifle your visualization. So even though mine look like this,
It's that limitation.
that, but then as I'm going through the actions to do it, 2 days, 3 days in, before I know it, I'm like, like, why are you slowing down? What's happening? You was just excited. What's going on? Because now you're believing what someone else or what you think. Well, no, what people believe in you. And people believe that of you because they are limited. So they want to put that on you. Everything that you did in life, and I'm speaking to myself, everything that you did in life, you did most of that stuff on your own with the grace of God. Period.
Yeah.
You was a single mother at 19 years old. You was around here you was in pageantry. You was doing everything, raising money, working jobs, doing hair. You was on your grind completely.
All on your own.
All on your own. So then when you get with somebody, and I don't want to say all of my family, but there were some family members and some friends be like, okay, you got that because of them. I got what? Oh, you didn't see all the hard work I was doing before.
You didn't see those late nights, the times I
Right.
didn't get to sleep, the times I didn't get to rest. When I wanted to go party, but I couldn't go out.
And then I asked my husband, I said, do I make it look so easy? He said, yeah, baby, you make that shit look easy.
Like you look like you get your full 8 hours.
Yeah. He said, because you do look like you make it easy. He said, but if anybody tell, I'd be like, shit, I don't do none of this.
People knew my real schedule. If people really knew my real schedule, they'd be like, "Will, how you can't be like this. You can't be a therapist." I know.
Yeah.
I was like, if they really saw what I was doing behind the scene, I tell people every day, I make sure I have my day before I have yours. That's why I show up the way I do. So before I see anybody's face, I make sure I see mine first.
I know that's right.
So that might mean I might have to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. I might have to do that.
because from 7 to 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm in your face.
Yeah. 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 You know what I love about that? It's because you have to take that time to take care of yourself.
Yes.
You do. You do. And I know this month we're talking about letting go, but that's a part of us that we have to let go too. We do.
Yeah.
It's putting others before us, but also putting someone else's narrative on your life. You know, I live my one of my mottos is don't judge a book by its cover, but read the pages within the book, you know.
Mhm.
And if you really sit down and you really look at yourself in that mirror, really look at yourself in that mirror, you take the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And you still standing there, you still there. That's a win.
Mhm.
And I don't think we look at that. That's a win.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, in the darker side of my profession is I have had conversations with people that didn't make it the next day.
Mm,
And they were beautiful conversations about life, living, family, friends, career. And 16 hours later, it's just they're not there anymore. Right. And so it makes me have to look at life very differently, and the sensitivity that's needed to own your life and to live your life. Right. To own your life and to live your life are two different things.
mhm.
And when we see the hustle, the work, because I know there's something bigger than what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but I'm also honoring what I've already done at the same time. You have to honor yourself in the moment, right? You honor yourself in the moment and you celebrate yourself to continue on,
Yeah.
right? I celebrate when I lost 1 pound. I celebrate when I made my first sandwich that had keto bread, right? I made a really good sandwich. It was with keto bread. It was cauliflower bread. I have to give myself that pickup, because I'm telling you, it's a lot. And now I can wear pants again with buttons. It's a
Mhm.
real thing. Like, I'm not wearing joggers anymore, And so it's important to just celebrate the small things. And a beautiful moment is when I work with comedians, right? I work with a lot of like really well-known comedians, and I have to remind them to laugh. I always
Mm,
tell them, hey, remember to laugh, right? That's what
mhm.
they do for everybody else. I'm like, but remember, make sure you laugh.
Yeah.
you know so like we get desensitized in our journey. We get desensitized about our life and how big of a deal we are.
Yeah.
So we have to create that visualization of just who we truly are in this story. We
Yeah.
have to create it, because you have to let go of some false narratives.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. And, you know, a few weeks ago we talked about that superhero.
Mm-hmm.
That you are your superhero.
Yes.
Have that show up, whether you are a single mother or a single father, because we have some single fathers out there as well. If
Mm.
you're married in your relationship and you holding it down, you are that superwoman or you are that superman. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to figure out, how can I just love this? How can I can love me in each and every part of my soul and my spirit, and what I need to let go. Because guess what? It's not serving you. If it's blocking you, just say this. If you sat down and you wrote in your journal about what your ideas and everything what you gonna do, and you wake up the next morning and you on something else and not even going to your actions of what you was gonna do. So what was that thought that came to mind?
Exactly.
I mean, I know life be happening every day. I know that. But then
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about what you visualizing. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, okay, so let me do this, then I'm gonna get on this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
we tend not to we tend to let that go and down because we don't see it right here in our hand. But remember, was it last year when I said how I visualize, I smell it, I taste it, I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I understand now is that when the shit be gone, like my vertigo showed up, and why my vertigo stuck, because I was so unbalanced. I
Yes.
didn't let everything go. I still got my closet was still junky. It still had stuff but it still had stuff in there that I
Yep.
cannot wear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I holding on, to those things, just period. I can go out and buy me some more material, or I have material in it. I can create my own thing, just period. That's the thing. We linger on to so many things about fitting into this group, or fitting into with that, or being number one on YouTube, or, certain things like that. It holds us back.
It
Instead
does.
of us just being who we are.
Yes, the
Loving.
goal is not enough.
Yeah.
The goal is the goal is never enough. It's the
No.
lifestyle the goal creates.
Yeah.
And when you figure out the lifestyle of the goal and not the goal itself, you'll get way more rewards in your life than you ever imagine.
Yeah. So when I'm like, actually right now, I created the wellness with Nyomi. Yes. Why? It's because I want to see you. I want y'all to see me go through this. But it's a joy for me to go through it. I am to share my experience, whether I succeed in it or whether you see me fail, because it's not a failure to me, because I'm doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So in that failure that others will look at, there was a lesson that was learned, or there was a message that came from it. And so when I look at things like that now, that changes things for me. It changes from our conversation that we had today on visualization and understanding how to be creative with it and let it go, versus the conversation we had last year, and the conversation that we might have 6 months down the line, or even a year from now.
Right.
And that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to change, and it's supposed to grow. And it ain't supposed to be the same.
It's not supposed to be the same.
Nothing's
supposed to be the same.
Mm-mm.
Nothing is supposed to be the same. And when it does become the same, that means you either hit a plateau, which means you must expand, or you have to break and go up.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to break your plateau, or are you going to expand it? Which one is it? Right? Because there's nothing wrong with expanding yourself, right? Because you can gather more resource. But it's just depending on, are you going to break your plateau? Some people don't want to do that because of it might mean I have to be something that I'm not used to. That's why we don't let go often, because it's not.
Yeah.
I haven't been this person yet, so I don't want to let go yet.
Yeah. Oh, you just touched something.
What I do?
That didn't even sound right. Like, ooh, you just touched something.
I was like, I'm in Ohio.
You just touched something in my soul, because again, that was a part of my awakening. That was a part of my awakening, holding on to some things because, all right, I'm good at this. No, Heifer, you good at a whole lot of shit. You understand what I'm saying? And let me say, and when I say this, I want to say this loud to everybody, even to Dr. Will. Stop allowing other people limited beliefs limit your ass. And that's on the truth. They will sit there all day and say, you doing too much. You need to do such. Why are you doing this? You need to focus. You are focused. You focus on who you are. And you're trying to create your life for who you are.
I'm creating. I'm creating.
Yes.
I'm like, why don't you go to sleep? Why don't you go to this? You're doing too much. You don't schedule right. You don't do. I'm like, I am literally in the thick of my creation. Some people, I hate to say this, but some people are not in the center of their own creations. And I'm speaking to you directly, artists. Any type of creator, any type of content creator, you have to know when you are in the middle of your own process. And a lot of us are so externalized about our creative process that we get so dull and stale. That's why you get tired out. That's why you get burnt out. That's why you get writer's block. That's why you get creator's block. That's why you get all these type of blocks. It's because you're not in the center of your own creation. It ain't got nothing to do about you working hard. It's nothing to do about not having enough resources. It's not about you don't have enough people following you. It's because you forgot how to actually be your own creator. You're being something else's creator. Yeah. You're not even the center of your own sun.
Yeah.
How you gonna? You don't even know what you're even burning anymore.
Yeah.
That's why you're burnt out, because you're not even burning within your own sun, and that's the truth. And a lot of artists, they come to me because they want to recreate and reinvent themselves. I'm like, you lack internal reciprocity. That's what you're missing. You lack internal reciprocity. You don't know how to search within yourself. Right. You have to search without.
So let me say this, and I want to be honest. For me, I don't think, well, no, let's say this, because I will say, I used to say, not that I'm reinventing myself, but I did a reset and I'm coming more into myself. A lot of people will look at, oh, you've rebranded yourself. I just did this amazing interview not too long ago, and they say, you reinvented yourself. And I said, I really don't see that. I really see that I just was growing and living my life and my truth. And I'm no longer in that season or in that chapter of my life. And so I am who I am today. Of course, I'm not the same young woman at 19 years old, a single mother, or, married at, you know what I'm saying, in my first marriage, and even in my second marriage, even from, last year. I am not that same person, and we're not supposed to. I think we've been so conditioned that if you do anything different, then you changed. And that change
Right.
is supposed to be a bad thing. Why
Right.
is change aren't we supposed to grow? Aren't we supposed
Well,
to,
you know how much I get? You know how much I get told? Oh, Dr. Will, why'd you change your hair? Your hair color changed. I said I change it 4 times a year: winter, fall, spring, summer. I'm about to change it again for the springtime. I'm like, why do you care? I was like, and I'm like thinking to myself, it has a meaning to me,
Yeah.
right? It has a meaning to me. I might shave it all off. Who knows? Like, it just depends on what am I going through in my creative process.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So, like, people don't realize that when you don't stand in the center of your own creation, it doesn't have purpose. You no longer have purpose. There's no point. So then you will get tired. You will get burnout. You will get lazy. You'll just be a consumer. And we're not meant to be consumers. We're meant to be creators.
Yes.
You've been designed to be creators.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So let me tell you this real fast. So I went back to challenged myself to listen to Dr. Will Lord today. Yeah, I'm listening to you too, but to Bob Proctor, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. And I felt like it was time for me to go back because, again, my vertigo was triggering. It was triggered. And so I've been off balance, like crazy. I'm better now. I'm getting better. But that was just to remind me of some things that in the motion of things, I was doing too much. And I wasn't, as he would say, you're forcing things. I was forcing things and trying to rush things. And that's not even what I was supposed to be doing because I got too excited about something. Like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. No, you just got off the whole thing that you were supposed to be doing because you're trying to rush something or you're trying to do. No. Trust the process. Trust the process and be in that moment. And I found out the hard way by not being able to get in bed. And if I am able to get in bed, I'm up for this 2 hours speaking with you. You understand? Put on my makeup or on set with Ask Nyomi, put on my makeup. And then I'm down in the bed on my phone or on my computer, sick. And I had to say to myself, okay, what did you didn't do or what did you do? What did you do or what did you didn't do? So I said, let me go back to where it first began for me and what helped me get through it. And that was to go back to Bob Proctor. And I was listening to it. And it was something that he said about us made in God's image. And God was a creator. So why the hell do we not create? Why are you not creating? We are creative creatures.
And what happens when you don't create? You control.
Yes.
And what happens when you control? You lose yourself.
Yes.
You lose your ability to choose. You think you're controlling somebody, what you're doing is constricting yourself, actually.
Yes. Yes. And so my thing is, I'm all of me. I got this big old sunflower. Why you got this sunflower? You know why I got this sunflower? Because it has a meaning to me. First of all, sunflower is my favorite flower. But this is about my spirituality. It's a light that shines. It tells about my loyalty, my strength, my resilience. It shows all of that in my flower. And for the past 2 weeks, that's what I've been wearing in my hair is my flower.
It's my flower. It's my flower.
It's my flower.
Not yours, not theirs. Your flower.
It's mine. You can go get yours, but it's my flower. So I'm looking for sunflowers in all different colors to put in my hair, and I am rocking it
Right.
for the rest of the year. Yes. Somebody said, why you change your hair like your hair? Let me tell you something. I am a canvas. From my makeup to my contacts to my lipstick to my hair.
Mm-hmm.
This has helped to paint me of who I am today.
Yes.
I might look different tomorrow. Like you said, I might shave off the rest of my head.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have so many wigs. Because whatever I feel on that day, that is how I feel on that day. And that's what we should tap into.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my thing is to create that visualization, to do that. I'm curious, when did you give yourself the permission to visualize?
So let me answer this very honestly. I was visualizing when I didn't even know. And I didn't even know. When I was a little girl, I remember I used to write that I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be rich and famous. I used to write it all the time. Then my little sister started doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know that's what I was doing. I didn't know actively that's what I was doing. I remember when I used to play basketball, I used to be in the backyard of my grandmother's house. And I used to be doing the drills, but I also used to be envisioning myself doing amazing things with that basketball. You understand what I'm saying? And so even before I even knew what that was, I always saw myself bigger than what I was. But then this is where the environment around you tell you that you're something different. And in that case, that makes you do what? Kind of come back some, you hold it back a little bit. But I've always had that like, yeah. So now let me tell you when I did realize what visualization was. And to be very honest, when I gave myself permission to really go beyond anything was probably 2 years ago. And Bob Proctor confirmed it for me when he said about the Wright brothers with the airplane. Folks didn't believe. Folks thought they was crazy. Now we're flying all over the world in different. You understand what I'm saying? So stop letting folks that don't do shit tell you nothing.
It's crazy how many people think that, like, people deny, like, just my life. Like, I'm 35 years old, and like, I've been around the world. I've toured the world. I've done things that would take a lifetime to do, and I still don't feel done, right? And the amount of people that denied, made fun of me, thought I was weird, thought I was like, I'm just doing what I love, and I didn't think about I wasn't looking for an applause. I wasn't looking for a clap. I was literally just trying to do what I love and to love what I do. And it was just that simple. And I didn't really think that I had to do anything else, but I take steps, and those steps reminded me of the goal. But I just love what I do. And why I'm so good at what I do is because I love what I do. There's no trick. There's no like extra book that I read, or there's no extra. I loved it. So I lived it. I live my therapy. I don't just give therapy. I live my therapy. So I'm doing my practices. I am doing my work. I am doing my own interventions. I'm doing the things that I give other people. And so if I feel limited at any point in my life, that's a sign, right? That's a sign for me, right? That I have to reset. That's all that means. And so we have to start taking things as lessons and not losses, right? And wins as moments to celebrate who you are. It's important to celebrate our wins. Like, not just because you won, it's, do you realize that who you were is being recognized? Right? That's the celebration, is knowing that I was myself, and other people can see it too. That's what we're really celebrating. But people miss that part out. They're just happy that they won. You
You know,
know.
I love that you said that, and I know we kind of jumped around on this episode. But even before we sat down here, I just truly asked God to use us as a vessel and say whatever it is that we needed to say. And it is still about letting go, though. It's still
Mhm.
about letting go and letting go our limited beliefs, because, again, as you said before, is we tell ourselves this narrative of ourselves that was co-written by someone else. So we're allowing someone else to co-write that story. No, you are the writer.
You are the
You
writer.
are the main character of your story. So pick up that pen and start writing. And I don't mean literally, I mean pick up your pen. That means pick up your courage
Mm-hmm.
to love yourself more than you love anyone else, and write your story. And writing means to live your story, to live it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And stop giving people your pen. Stop giving people your pen. Just stop. Just stop it. Like, you're like, hi, would you like to write my story? Yeah, let's see what I think about you. You're like, like what? It's crazy. We're having you give people your pen, what they do in your story. It's
Yes.
wild. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Wow. All right, Dr. Wood, as always, it's always good, dude.
This is warm. Yeah, this is warm. This is a good one. This was a warm session. I loved it. This is the warm one.
Again, thank you as always. As always, I can't wait to see you next week for our new. No, we still in this. We got one
Yeah,
more.
we're here. Yeah, we're here. We ain't
We got
leaving.
one more. We got one
Uh-huh.
more. One more. We do. We got one more. Oh, that's gonna be a good one. I think we
Uh-huh.
can. Yeah. Let me shut up. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Let me.
Mm-hmm.
And to our listeners right now, I hope that you are leaving this episode just feeling inspired, activated, and most of all, open to the power of what is possible, and letting go of them limited beliefs. And I know that it isn't always easy, but when we create a new vision and we walk forward in with faith and intention, that's when transformation happens. All right, so don't forget, if you haven't picked up our copy of the Year of the Rebirth workbook, it's a space for you to reflect on today's episode, and it includes prompts to help guide you through your visualization journey. Again, we would love to hear from you and what came up during our guided meditation earlier today. But also put down hashtag Ask Dr. Will. And if you have any questions for Dr. Will, please ask. He'll answer them. He'll answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And
For
remember,
free too. For free.
and what's your website? Because we never say your website. Could you give them your website where they can, if they want your services? Because he do online as well.
Yep. I can do anywhere. So it's healallways.org. So healallways.org. So healallways.org. Or you can Google or search Washington Wellness Institute, and we can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation so I can see what I can do for you.
All right, beautiful. All right, again, Dr. Will, thank you. Thank you to my beautiful family out there this season of self-love. Until tomorrow, I will see y'all tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today, and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.